Okay, got a soldier, another DPS review. Bronze 4, I believe is what he had said. King's Row. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So we're like 2 seconds before the spawn happens. And the first thing that I would say is that you would want to probably start on a high ground. Just having the flexibility of being on a high ground, being able to see everything much more. Uh, you have a few different places you can fall back to if you need to, like over here if they have like a Widowmaker or something. Even up here if they start pushing through. Starting on a low ground just limits your options. It's not necessarily like the worst thing ever, of course, but just having the ability to see more stuff is always good. Just first off. But then let's actually get into the actual game.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective
So, going along with the high ground talk, it takes you a while to be able to get into a position where you can actually shoot people. And right now, even getting into a position to shoot people, I mean, you're like you're swung out so wide that like basically their entire team can see you like right here because you're just like so far from this cover over here. If you had been just anywhere else really at the start of this, you wouldn't have to go so far out of your way to find how to shoot people. And then there's a defense matrix in your way. Like it's a whole mess, right? And like you're swinging super wide, you're getting pushed, and now you're backing up into like open space and stuff. Like you gotta try and find these spots where you can get value without being aggressed on super easily. Obviously, versus a diva, her whole point is like pushing people who are isolated and stuff, but you don't have to isolate yourself like a ton by any means. But just being up on like up here inside of this room, like this little hallway, you would have so much like room to play with. Like people look at you or like Diva starts flying at you, you can just run through the other side and peek from the other side and look. Like if you're up here, like just up here looking through to the statue, it's way harder for something bad to happen because you can just run over here and look right here and see people. And then if Diva's still pushing you, like worst case scenario, you can jump down and run to your team.
Much better.
I don't know what that was. You weren't shooting for like a while there. I'm gonna assume that was lag. That looked very weird. So like, going up to the high ground now is great. You should open with your rockets. Whenever you see somebody like that, you should have opened with your helix rockets and kept shooting them. You probably would have confirmed that kill 100%. If you just helix rocketed while they're like not noticing you and then started shooting, you almost guaranteed would have killed that person. But instead, it looks like they're gonna heal up and get away. You like always want to open with your helix rockets on targets for that reason. Right now, like, why are you not shooting? Why are you using your field? And there's a ton of delay, and your decision making is very strange right now. I'll say that much. You're getting approached on by Sojourn. I don't know if you know this. You have 7 HP. You need to get down and go get to safety. You got no HP, bro. Another situation where you could have helix rocketed their feet and probably won this fight, no doubt. So another thing here is there's a corner like right here. You don't have to play out in the middle of the street. In fact, it's better to never do that. There's like almost no situation where you should just be in the middle of the street whenever you have a corner available to you. Just anything you can do to make yourself harder to hit, and the enemies they're the same. They're exactly the same to hit. Just take that opportunity because if you're standing here, you have multiple ways that you can change your angle without the bad things happening. So like if you're here, you can go right behind the room or just keep moving backwards and nobody can get to you. Like if you're crossing here, that means something horrible is happening and they're not right on top of you. But otherwise, if they're just aggressing on you, you can move straight back to the long lane, like no problem. But because you're in the middle of the street, you get sojourned and die. The classic high ground that people like to take right here is up here, but it's kind of dangerous as well because it's kind of like a straight sight line. You have to stand pretty far back in order to minimize your hitbox. And during this whole time, the enemy team is like not punishing you at all. Like they're not even pushing the cart. That's the funniest part. Like your bad play is not being punished. Like period. Other than you being dead, it's not being punished at all. You know. Right here, you should still be sprinting. No reason not to be sprinting. If you're not crouch walking, there's no reason to sprint. I see you're trying to get off a flank visor. This is fine. Yeah, dropping down is fine if you don't want to waste your ult or anything like that. Another situation, you need to be using your rockets. You gotta use your rockets. Gotta use your rockets. Your healing pad didn't get used either. You should have healing padded whenever you started taking damage and rocketed. You could have rocketed 2 different times. You could have rocketed, got rocket back, and used rocket again. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, you're taking a good angle right now. Like, any kind of crossfire you can set up where you're, like, shooting from a different angle than your team is good. You probably don't want to stand this close to them just because they can see you, like, the whole time, you know? But, I mean, it's fine. Again, rockets, 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 rockets. Shoot your rocket, shoot your rocket, shoot your rocket. Yeah. If this was live coaching, that's just like I would be in your ear crazy right now. Why are you running so far away? You definitely don't want to run all the way away every time. I mean, they cap. You should have died on point if you were planning on doing that. At least buy a little bit more time. Like right now, your setup frankly sucks. Like, why are you just in the middle of the street with the rest of your team? Like, go somewhere else. You got legs, you know? You got sprint, man. You can set up on different angles that other people just can't get to that quickly, you know? Like, you could be over here taking a fight while they're taking a fight in the street. You could be up here. You could. There's tons of places you could be. You can start right here and be shooting. They notice you, you sprint away. But like taking these fights that are so far away, you just give up all of the pressure right here because your team is so far back. Like, check this out. Because your team is so far back, like every single one of you is like over here, and you have your Hanzo up here, like taking a ton of pressure. The payload's over here, and because you guys are so far back, I have no doubt that this payload's going to get to at least right here, basically completely unimpeded, unless your tank runs straight at them and hopes to God that someone helps them. Like, you're still in the middle of the street. You're still in the middle of the street. You gotta find these better. You gotta find better spots to fight from. You gotta make it easier for yourself. You know what I mean? And because of this is still happening. Like, yeah, see, you had to back all the way up, and the payload's exactly where I said it would end up. And now it looks like you're gonna get even more from it. But I mean, it's kind of like that. It's kind of the thing where it's like, unless you give the enemy team a reason to go away, they're just gonna keep advancing. You know what I mean? Like. And because of all this pressure and, like, you know, now that everyone's in, like, such a bad situation, like, they cap it no problem. And all of that stems from just, like, taking a bad position early.
0 to 3.
Like, had you been in a spot where you could have reciprocated their aggro earlier, you may have been able to get a pick or, like, at least apply some amount of pressure. I mean, I'm not saying put yourself in a situation where you're, like, being a hero and you're going to die or whatever, but just, like, starting here, shoot your rocket, put some shots on somebody. If your rocket connects with somebody, you only have to hit them with, like, 4 bullets to kill them. And then, like, if they notice you, you just sprint. Sprint, 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 sprint. And if they're still pushing, you can. If they're not pushing you anymore, you can go here. You'll probably have another rocket in like 2 seconds. Shoot rocket, shoot, 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 shoot. They notice you. You run away. You run away. There's just so many places you just get to rotate to. Rotate. Shoot, 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 shoot. Rocket, rocket, rocket. Like rotate, 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 rotate. Like even if you have to like after you get pushed there, you want to rotate back over here to this high ground and just be like right here. You get a full sight line of what they're doing. You're just making the game very very difficult by not taking these like advantageous fights. Like any advantage you can take in this game, take it and use it. The way that you get to a higher elo is you take those advantages and you abuse them. You push them as far as you go. But right now, there's just so many things that you could be doing that you're not even like doing them crappily. You're just not doing them at all. And if you just start doing them even badly, you'll probably see like a huge improvement in in how your games go. Just had you been up here even now, obviously there's a ton of pressure here. Like it's pretty bad. It's pretty hard. This is a bad example, but like say the prelude was a little further back. You're up here. You shoot a rocket at somebody who hasn't seen you. Like even if you splash them for like 80 or you hit them directly for 120, if you stay on them and they just hit like 4 or 5 bullets, 6 bullets, they die. And that pick is like the difference between them pushing it from all the way at point 2 to point 3 and you buying like 30, 40 seconds while they reset. You know what I mean? You just got to you got to take the advantages, and then whenever you're comfortable taking the advantages, you have to break them. You have to push them as far as they can go without getting yourself killed. You know what I mean?
Initiating match.
But let's see how you play. I want to see how you play attack, because attack and defense are just like completely different animals. You know what I mean?
Three, two, one.
Bastion seems like a go-to when people are having a hard time. So here, first thing, this is more just like a theory thing. There's not really a reason to go right-hand side unless you're planning to go up top, just because it exposes you from like multiple angles that they can take. If you come from the left-hand side of the bus, they can only see you from, depending on how wide you go, they can only see you from the street on the right-hand side of the statue. That's just like a nitpick situation. It's unfortunate. He's got to play cover a little bit better on stuff like that. But Bastion's also interesting because he's like a very specific hero in my mind. Yeah, I like switching back to Soldier as well. So like, as Soldier right now, what I would be looking to do is probably, well, obviously they're in your face right now, but what I'm trying to do is I come out of spawn. Let's assume they're, taking up normal positions or whatever, but let me grab this here. So you're coming out of spawn. You're right here. Let's assume that they're posted up here, here, and here. If you're worried about how you're going to break into this, the best thing that you can do without relying on your team to like coordinate and be like, I'm going to go on this person. I hope that we can coordinate and like go together. Is like cut into the hotel and come up here. And then before anything, if you can just get shots onto somebody in this area or this area, just even distract them, like, shoot your rocket, try to get a pick, that's great. And like just building ult charge is awesome too. And then if you can't find value here, as your team is pushing in, like if you apply enough pressure, even if you don't get a kill, to have your team push in, you can go up here to this high ground and do exactly the same thing. There's even a health pack up there for you, along with your healing, that you can just shoot here. And as long as you don't get pushed by multiple people, you'll probably be fine. And thankfully, if you sprint jump, you can actually make it over there as well. But just like, that's my general plan. It's like, come out of here, see where the enemies are, and then try to set up like a high ground or something where I can see somebody and put a ton of pressure on them to like be able to keep moving forward. On attack specifically, of course. So clear that out. But let's see how it goes. Unfortunate. So now you're pretty much in a reset, so you're playing in the middle of the street still. So like right here where you're just like 80 strafing back and forth, you're not, I mean, it's better than nothing, right? But like pieces of geometry are things that no character can shoot through. At least not currently. Just need to try to make it harder for them to hit you, you know? I don't think your aim is even that bad. You're just not using Soldier's kit to its full effectiveness. You know what I mean? Like you used the rockets there, that was great. But like you could have started off with the rockets. Really, man, you just gotta learn to love the right click. You know what I mean? Like the right click on Soldier is what separates him. It's the burst damage is what separates Soldier from Baptiste. Baptiste has burst healing. Soldier has burst damage. You gotta abuse those things in the correct situations. You know what I mean? Here, this is fine. You probably want to try to take space because there's already people on the point. Just, you know, try and play as close to cover as you can. Don't push too hard and don't peek super wide. You just want to keep them from getting to the point, which you're doing. You're doing a good job. And now, I mean, you're rotating back after you realize that, you know, the point's going to get capped and nobody's going to stop you or whatever. That's good. I would probably drop your healing field for your Ryan at some point. Just run up and drop it for him. Just because you're in the middle of a team fight? I mean, whatever. Bastion's a god, right? That ult was bad, and I don't think we need to talk about why it was bad. Don't... I'm going to assume you fat-fingered it, to be honest. But, yeah, don't use your ult after the fight's already won, unless you have to. But if the fight's already won, you definitely don't have to, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Also, you could reload right now, but like that's nitpick. I want to see how that happened. Back up just a little bit. Oh, gotta back up a little more. There was a lot that just happened where I missed that. Oh lord. Yep. Okay, so he's being a little. Both of you being a little silly trying to push that. You definitely could have dropped your healing field preemptively. You just got to get better about your ability usage, honestly. There's no real reason to push that, but I mean, like, the fight's already lost, so dying isn't the worst thing.
Still got some fight in me.
But yeah, I play attack very differently because attack is when you play really aggressively because you have everything to gain. Defense is it's different, you know? Again, you're just kind of taking this wide open fight whenever Soldier is really just all about using that sprint to get on those flanks. Like, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but it could be better, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things, like, especially in a Ryan comp. Yeah, right now, what you're doing right now, great. You needed to reload before anything. Like, you're just not doing yourself any favors. That's what I mean by that, you know? Your heart's in the right spot, though. That aim not very good. I'm not here to criticize your aim though, you know, like we can't all be aim gods. But along with not all being aim gods, you also have to make sure you use the least aim intensive part of his kit, the rocket. You still holding that rocket? Still holding it. Should have shoot it. There you go. You missed, but at least you used it. It seems like you kind of get what you're supposed to be doing. You're just not doing it consistently. You know what I mean? I'm probably not going to watch the overtime very much. I just want to see how you use this ult and then how this point ended up getting capped because this is a very long replay. I don't like that Bastion ult just because he should have definitely waited until the point was moving before he used it. It's just kind of wasted, you know? Alright, so that Soldier, like, wasted the heck out of his ult. So for you, pretty much the same thing. Like, even on attack, like, same idea. You just want to get set up somewhere where you can abuse your sprint and everything. Like, coming over here and getting prepared to play at one of these pillars, just even if you're just slowing people down is a great thing. And just having the ability to sprint away, like, because as soon as you get up here, you're safe from like most directions, you know what I mean? You just need to be looking for these advantageous positions where you can really push an advantage, you know what I mean? And if you don't know what I mean, please ask. I'll be glad to explain it. I want to see how you use your ult. More than anything, I want to see how you use your ult. Good pick. Oh man, the life wheeler trolled you a little bit, but it doesn't end up mattering. You don't want to shoot Ryan with your ult. If there's other people alive, you don't really want to use it on Ryan, but it doesn't look like it mattered. Like, it's fine. You guys pushed your ult buttons and the game ended. Or at least the round ended. Oh, maybe not. There's a little extra. Rockets, 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 rockets. Rockets, 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 rockets. Didn't end up mattering. Alright, so I think you get the idea of what I'm saying from this one. I'm actually just going to show you a few bonus things in the practice range. Oops. Practice range is over here. So yeah, with Soldier.
Every
Sprinting. If you're not shooting or reloading, you should be sprinting. Like all the time. It just makes you so much faster. You're faster than every other character in the game without using abilities. But yeah, watch this. Rocket. Dead.
Not good enough.
Oh look, another one's up. Another character's here. Rocket. Dead. Let's say I've been up here for a minute. Like, oh, I'm shooting this guy. I'm shooting this guy. I'm shooting this guy. He's dead. I'm reloading. I'm changing the angle. I'm changing the angle. I'm moving over here. I'm shooting my rocket. I'm shooting my rocket. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. Oh, they noticed I'm here. I gotta move. I gotta move. I gotta move. Oh, another person. Rocket. When someone isn't aware of you and you're just like sneaking up on them, opening with rocket, look at that. More than half of their HP is gone already. How many bullets do I need to shoot? 1, 2, 3. I hit 2 headshots, but you get the idea. Another fun thing you can do, this is more of just like a funny tip than anything else. When you have your ult, if you biotic field and then ult, like basically at the same time, it cancels the biotic field animation, but just like this.
I've got you in my sights.
So like I'm using my ult, I'm using my ult. Also, you can still headshot in your ult. This is not really anything you need to worry about, but that's just kind of a thing. But yeah, if you're not shooting or reloading, you should be sprinting. There's no reason not to. Like, you can cancel most of your reload with sprint. Like right there. This is how long it takes to normally reload all the way before you can start shooting again. But if you cancel it with sprint, like, you reload in like half of the time. It's just one of those things. Like, even if you don't hit them directly, look how much time that saves you. Like, that's, what, 40 splash? 80 splash? I think it's 40, right? No, it should be 80. Well, let's see how many bullets it takes to kill one of these guys after you do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, what, 5 bullets? Yep, 5 bullets. Rocket, 5 bullets. That's all it takes. You don't even have to be an aim god to do stuff like that. You just gotta take those advantages. You gotta find those advantages, and you gotta make those advantages. And then once you get better and better, just learn to just push those advantages. Honestly, but I think you have the potential. Like I saw you try and take those flanks every once in a while. You just gotta be looking for those like all the time, almost. Just stuff like that.